This is the French flag, also known as the Drapeau National de la France, and it's one of many beautiful European simplistic tricolours found throughout the continent today. Although in the past, there was another flag that was used in France, and that is quite famous in historical circles, and that's this one on the left with a white field with the fleur-de-lis. And essentially, in this video, I want to ask the question, why did the French flag change from the one on the left to the one on the right? Well, let's dive into it. So obviously, we see this flag as being the French flag for quite a while. It's a white field with the fleur-de-lis is the name of the symbol on there, the water lily. And we see that this actually wasn't the first flag of France. In fact, the oldest recorded flag that we know from France was called the Oriflamme, which was kept by the monks of Saint-Denis. And we can actually see it here in this old picture from the 100 Years' War. It's the red flag in the background, it had a sun on it, and it had 5 sort of points on the end, and it was being used there. Now, another design that we can see in this picture is of the French knights, wearing a blue coat with then the 3 fleur-de-lis. And we actually see lots of fleur-de-lis in the early period, and later on it gets condensed down to 3, which was being used by the House of Valois, the medieval rulers of the Kingdom of France. And actually, during the 100 Years' War, there were several emblems that were being used when the French were fighting against the English and the Burgundians. Another one was that the English first on crusade wore white crosses, and then eventually they switched over. So the English started to wear red crosses, whilst the French started to wear white crosses, and the Burgundians, on the other hand, wore a red saltire. And actually, this is the basis for some of the French army flags that they had. That eventually this white cross was put on a blue field, and that's when you get the flag like this, which you can still see in the modern flag of Quebec today. Of course, this is because it was part of Nouvelle France, or New France, which was a French colony in North America, which is why it gets this flag. But what about the design of the white flag? Why do the French show a white flag? So actually, this goes back to Joan of Arc, and actually, Joan of Arc had her own description of the flag that she carried into battle, which you can actually see again in the background of this image. And she says, so this is really the origin, or one of the first descriptions of a flag that looks similar to what would become the royalist French flag that was used by the House of Bourbon. Although often when they used it, they would use a design like this with the 2 angels, again with the capuchin or the Valois symbol in the middle with the fleur-de-lis, the 3 on the blue background, which makes up this royalist flag. But then at one point, as is illustrated in this nice painting, this white flag goes to becoming a tricolour of blue, white and red. So how did this occur? Well, the history of this lies in the French Revolution. Of course, the French flag wasn't just white most of the time. There was also the red and the blue that were added in, and these were added in because these were important colours for the city of Paris. Actually, they refer to 2 of the saints, which were very important to the people of Paris. They were Saint Denis and Saint Michael, and these saints were also worn on the colours of the cockades, which were being worn by the revolutionaries during the French Revolution, the blue and the red. Lots of them being from Paris, a lot of the important action happening in Paris, of course, during the Revolution. That was Gilbert de Motier, who was probably known better to the Americans and actually everyone else as Lafayette, who was an important marquis who fought during the French Revolution, and afterwards, and also beforehand, with the Americans, and with the French royalists. He actually decided to add in the white to make it a national banner, because white had been such an important colour for the French in the past. So he decided to add the white to make it the blue, the white, and the red. And then you obviously get this design. Now you can tell that this is a little different to the modern flag in several ways. The blue and the red have switched sides, and the shade of blue has also changed over the years, and that is how we get the modern French flag, the modern tricolour of the blue, the white and the red. Of course, the white flag was actually still used by monarchists. There were still monarchists in France even after the Revolution. They were using the white flag, for example, during the Vendée Rebellion, which was in the, I believe, the southwest of France at the time. They were, of course, defeated, although the French did actually manage to get a monarch back after Napoleon, but that didn't last particularly long. And the flag soon reverted back to the blue, white and red. Now, what's interesting is that a compromise flag was actually made at one point, where you have the tricolour and also the French royal arms in the middle. Now, who was it made by? One of the Counts of Chambord. So I hope you have enjoyed this video about the flag of France. French viewers, I hope you have subscribed to my channel, even if I might have mispronounced a lot of French terms. I do actually really like you guys. Genuinely. There's lots to talk about with the flags here. There's lots of different steps and stages with the early flag, the Oriflamme, and also the fleur-de-lis, and then later on the Tricolor, and how this is all connected to each other, the symbolism behind it there. So I hope you have enjoyed it. Let me know if you did, and I hope you have enjoyed the video and will enjoy the rest of your day. So I have been the last historian, and this has been the French flag history.